Hello, welcome back. All right, now let's talk about initiation. Okay, we're gonna talk about my initiation and to be specific. So what is initiation? Initiation, most people already know what that is. It's basically just a set of challenges that an individual goes through in order to prepare them to be doing something that's greater than them, or to learn a group of lessons that eventually they're gonna help somebody get through those lessons. So for my initiation, where did it begin? My initiation began when I was in a relationship. And my DNA started coming online. So in this relationship, out of nowhere, for some reason, we'd be hanging out, and I would just go outside and start looking at the stars. Would get pulled to just go outside, look at the stars. I didn't know what it meant at the moment. It just pulled me to go and look at the stars. So I would imagine that was probably something very odd to be seen at the time. We would just hang out, and then I would just get up and just go outside and just look at the stars 10, 15 minutes or however long. Now, this was just the beginning signs that I was about to start going through a very, very intense journey. So after that started to happen, my DNA, it started coming online, because I used to doodle a lot, especially when I was little. I used to doodle a lot, just draw, just random stuff, even just cartoon characters, stuff like that, especially when you're little. So I was just doodling one day. I was just doodling, and then I showed it to my oracle. This one specific picture kind of stood out, and I said, what is this? What does this look like to you? So I actually found it. This was from like 15 years ago. This is the picture right here. I hope I got it. This picture right here is just one of the doodles, and that right there. So I asked my oracle at the time, what is this? What does this look like to you? And she knew immediately. She told me that is a map. That's a map. And I said, this is a map of what? And she said, I can't tell you what you have to do to complete it, but I can tell you where you have to go to complete it. So apparently this was a map. So we went to a nature preserve, and this map, I was supposed to, or use this map to find the water. So this is what the map was about, was I had to find the water, but I could not use any trails. Okay, so I had to pretty much listen to my internal guidance and find the water in this huge preserve. And I prevailed really easily. So she actually went with me. And she said, okay, you have to go find the water. It was a stream of water, and I had to find it. This place was huge, but I was not allowed to use any of the trails. So after I had found the water, she took a picture of me. And there was all these colors around me and all this stuff. And she was like, you got to see this picture. And then at the moment, I was like, wow, this is something. I'm pretty sure I might have that picture somewhere, but it could be lost. So that was the beginning signs. Then my dreams started getting real intense. So it was so intense that I had to just start writing this stuff down. So I got a gang of journals that's filled up with all the stuff that I was going through and all this. I got so many journals. I just got to grab just a handful of them, but I got a gang of journals from back in the day, and even to this day, because that's very, very important for mental wellness, is to journal. So after I started journaling a lot and doodling a lot and having a lot of lucid dreams, didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what it meant at the moment. And eventually that stuff will be revealed later. So later on, that stuff was revealed. So other people, this may play out the same way with you, okay? So with your initiations, you're not gonna know where you're going. You're not. You're just gonna feel the calls. And if you're wise, you're gonna heed them. You're gonna heed those calls if you're wise. It's okay to be scared. It's okay, but at the same time, don't let that stop you. If you're afraid of what's up there or what's down that path, you don't have to be afraid, especially if you're feeling it. Okay, if you're feeling like, okay, this is a call that I know I have to answer. And that's something that I always did, was I listened to my gut, listen to your instincts. So as I'm going through these journals and I'm going through doodling and all of that, my body started shifting. My body started shifting, and then to the point where I had to just remove myself from society and just basically go into a solitude mode out in nature and spend a lot of time in nature. And I was still just looking at them stars. I didn't know what it meant. But they were just pulling me in. So I'm looking at these stars, and eventually it got to the point where I was able to hear what they were saying. They were saying stuff to me. And then I was able to listen and hear these conversations of different stars just saying stuff to me. So I was like, okay, this is cool. This is real cool. So when I came out of that phase of the initiation, I had to figure out a way to reintegrate myself back into society. I mean, it wasn't that long. It was only about 6 months, but I was out in nature. So I wasn't dealing with people. I was dealing with spirits. I was dealing with the Alfan. I was dealing with the fairy realms. I was dealing with the Cantomble. I was dealing with all of the Netaru that was in the spirit world. I was dealing with the celestials. I wasn't dealing with people like that. I was listening to everything that the information, what they was telling me. I was just listening, and then just listening and just absorbing all of it. And so it got to the point where they said, okay, you have to go and share. You have to go and share. Because I was like, I don't want to leave. I want to stay here. So they was like, no, you got to go and assist. You have to go and assist. So that's exactly what I have been, that's what I've been doing ever since then. So what's up, baby? Okay, baby, can you turn it down for me? And then just put the pot on it. Just turn it down to low and just put the pot on it. So as I'm going through this initiation, I realized, okay, I got to go now out back and reintegrate myself back into society. So as I go back into society, I noticed that when it came to astrology, I was doing something a little bit different than everybody else. I wasn't even into astrology like that. But I had noticed that I had a power. There was an ability that opened up in me to where I could see people's futures. I was like, wow, I could see them and I can feel them, sense them. And then as I'm learning about astrology, because I was listening to the stars, and I just had to put the left brain part, I had to connect the left brain to the right brain part. So once I put them together, it created like this super consciousness in me, and then it just unlocked an ability. Now other people have this ability or something similar. They may have gone through this process, but as you're going through these initiations, they're different based upon your own psychophysical. So whatever your psychological and how it connects with your physical body, so what you can handle. So I just started sitting down with my family and talking to them about astrology and just other stuff. And then I did my first natal chart. And the person that I did the natal chart on, they were just so blown away that they was just like, oh my goodness, you just told me about everything that just happened in my life. So I was like, okay. So I continued on, and it got to the point where I started to get rather good at it. I got rather good at it, and I started traveling. I started traveling all throughout the states, and I was doing natal charts at the time. And people would hit me up wherever I was at. They would just hear word of mouth. Like, hey, you just did my friend's natal chart or what have you. And then I'm in, I'd be in Atlanta or something, and they'd be hitting me up in Cali. I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll be right there. Just give me a few days because I got to drive out there. And it just kind of snowballed a little bit like that. So it was just kind of a word of mouth. And so I was just sitting down with families and just talking about some of the things that was going on with like maybe their children and stuff that they was, this child, this is the reason why they learn better like this, or this will help them. And this is why these energies they don't really synchronize as well. So I was just doing that for a little while, for I don't know, maybe about 5 or so years. And then it got to the point where I just started embracing all of the energies that was telling me what to do next. Okay, it was telling me to go here, sit here, do this, do that. And before I knew it, let's backtrack for a moment. When I showed the map to my oracle. My oracle, she was the one, she said, in the future, you are going to be helping a lot of people. And at the time, I didn't know what she was talking about. She said, you're going to be helping a lot of people in the future. And at the time, she didn't even know what I was going to be doing, but she did know that I was going to be helping a lot of people in the future. And if we fast forward to about maybe 10 years later, she told me that, she asked me, she said, do you remember we did that reading? She said, you have become that person that was in that reading that we talked about. And I knew exactly what she was talking about. So that's who I became after my initiation. I was initiated to assist a lot of people with DNA activation, helping them to basically align themselves with ascension, and then basically reach their soul's potential, so that way they can stop reincarnating. A lot of people have been trapped reincarnating so many times, and they don't know why. They don't know why, and they need guidance. They need guidance, and they need a little bit of help. They need some tips. They need some methodology. Okay, so with me, it's not about talking. Okay, the talking has already, that day is over. Okay, now, because we have plenty of the information is already here, but now what the people are hungry for is they need the methodology. They need the how do I do it? What is something that I can do every day that will have that breakthrough? And that's where I come in. And I'm like, okay, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about what's going on, okay, in your life. We're going to sit down and talk about what happened, and we're going to talk about this is what's going on in the future. Okay, so in the future, this is what your possible future can be. And this is where everything, all the energies is pushing you towards. So when I do my thing, I have the ability to be able to connect. I connect directly with their future self. I connect with their ancestors. I connect with the celestial bodies, and they pretty much tell me what's going on with this individual, and I scribe it. That's the ability I have, is I just scribe it, okay? And I tell them, and I help guide them, okay? Because your future self is always trying to help you. It's always trying to help you. So your past, present, and future, they all exist simultaneously, okay? But you always are going to have another future. Another future is going to be coming, and it's constantly changing. So what I do is I connect people. I help connect them to that individual that's up there, but also heal the ones that's behind us. Okay, so in order for reincarnation to stop, and especially in this time, people have to not only clear karma, okay, but they have to get over all forms of worldly desires. Okay, so people have to complete those whatever worldly desires they got. They got to complete them. Got to complete them, because you don't want to transition and maybe you worked too much in this life and you don't know what it's like to be a parent, a mother, or a father, or vice versa. Maybe you was very successful, but you don't know what it's like to be a mother, or you work too much and you don't know what it's like to be a mother, or you didn't work at all and you don't know what it's like to be a parent. So it just depends on that person's soul. So that person's soul, when I connect, it lets me know exactly where they at in the cosmos, where they have been, and where they're trying to get to, And a lot of people, they can't see it because of the DNA. Either it's not unlocked yet, or they have too much karma. So if they have too much karma, there's certain things that cannot be revealed until a certain time. So that is what my initiation was about. That's what it is, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to assist many on this planet with their ascension process, okay, so that they can complete their soul's mission and graduate, okay. So this is not the only planet. This is not the only planet. This is not the only dimension. This is not the only realm. So that's why I'm here, okay. So thank you.